Welcome to The Explainer. In today's world, we're pretty much all presenters, whether we signed up for it or not. But there's this frustrating gap between how we want to come across and the tools we have to work with. Today, we're going to put a name to that frustration, and then we'll explore a really powerful new way to solve it.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a really important question. See, turning up is easy. That's just being there. Another face in a little box on Zoom with all the default settings on. But showing up is different. That means you're presenting with purpose, with intent, bringing that something extra so your message actually lands and people remember it.
And this, right here, is the heart of the problem. We are stuck in what you could call a communications chasm. On one side, you've got professional broadcast TV. It looks incredible, right? But it's super complex, super expensive. Then, on the other side, you have the dead simple phone video. It's easy for sure, but let's be honest, it often lacks the punch, the gravity that your message really deserves.
Well, this gap, this tension we all feel, it actually has a name. I first heard it at the Silicon Valley Video Summit, and it's called the Prosumer Paradox. And wow, does it perfectly describe this whole situation.
So what is it? The paradox really just boils down to wanting the absolute best of both worlds. We want that polished, professional look, but we also want the speed and the ease of just whipping out our phone. The problem is, pretty much all our current tools force us to pick one or the other. You can have quality or you can have easy. But both? That's tough. In this paradox, it leads to some very real, very common frustrations. I bet you felt these. We waste hours and hours building slide decks. We juggle these clunky, separate teleprompter apps that make us look away from the camera. Or we get totally lost trying to manage scenes in something like OBS. And what's the result? Our message gets watered down and we lose our audience's attention.
So, the big question is, how do we bridge this gap? Well, it's not just about finding a slightly better tool. It's about adopting a fundamentally new philosophy for how we communicate on camera.
And it all starts with this simple shift in mindset. We have to move from just being present on a call, from just turning up, to actively showing up, coming prepared with a plan to get our ideas across with total clarity and real impact.
This new philosophy creates something we can call a third space. Now, think of it this way. AI can give you this massive iceberg of raw data in just a few seconds. But it's your human touch, your context, your ingenuity that makes that data believable and trustworthy. This third space is where those two powerful things come together.
And the whole goal of working in this third space is really simple. It's to empower every single person, not just the CEO or the marketing team, to deliver their message with more weight, more impact, and frankly, more authority. Okay, so that's the big idea, the philosophy. But how do we actually do it? Let's break down the practical, high-gravity workflow that makes all of this possible. It really comes down to three core things that are designed to work together perfectly as one seamless system. The whole idea is to get rid of all that friction we were just talking about. First up, connection. Having a teleprompter that's built right into your main workflow is an absolute game changer. It means you're not glancing away to read your notes or breaking that crucial eye contact. You're looking right at your audience, building trust with every single word. Second, explanation. Instead of just showing a static, boring slide, imagine you can draw and annotate on it live. This lets you literally guide your audience's attention, you can circle key data points, and you can turn what was a passive presentation into an active, engaging conversation. And third, creation. This is where it gets really powerful. With integrated AI, you can take a bunch of scattered notes or a chunk of text from an email and instantly turn it into a structured presentation. It helps you find the hidden story in your data in seconds, not hours. It's incredible. Okay, now let's see how this entire workflow really comes together. We're going to look at a real-world example of turning a simple bit of text into a full-blown presentation in just minutes. It almost feels like magic. So check this out. This is a true story. A text message, just a quick summary of an article about a quarterback named Fernando Mendoza, was pasted into the script generator. Within 60 seconds, the AI turned those few bullet points into a compelling narrative. And from start to finish, in 5 minutes, it was a polished, powerful presentation totally ready to go live. What's amazing is that the incredible speed didn't come at the cost of substance. In fact, it amplified it. This workflow made it possible to quickly shape that raw information into a really powerful story about resilience, about belief, and about having the courage to take your shot when you get it. So what does all this mean for the future of how we work and communicate? Well, it really represents a completely new standard for what it means to be effective.
If you kind of map out the communication landscape, you'll see that most tools force you to make a trade-off between effort and quality. Down here, you have low-effort, low-quality stuff like a basic video call. Over here, you have high-effort, high-quality tools like professional broadcast software. The real goal, the sweet spot, is to live in that top left corner, to get high quality with low effort.
And the secret to getting there is by unifying everything. One single cohesive workflow, one button to advance your entire show, one place for all your notes, one system to manage everything. No more juggling a dozen different apps and windows, just one.
Ultimately, when you can balance powerful AI research with your own visible presence, your own context, you're doing so much more than just sharing data. You're building trust. You're building influence. You become the human guide through all that information, and that is something AI on its own can never, ever do.
So here's the big takeaway. That prosumer paradox we talked about, there's a solution. The tools to communicate with real gravity, with real confidence, are now more accessible than they have ever been before. So the only question left, really, is for you. How will you show up?